again. Then after this, the classification of engine, we will go to the classification of engine based on the strokes. So, and based on the strokes and based on the fuel type. So IC engine, based on the strokes, we have two-stroke engine and we have four-stroke engine. We have fuel based on the fuel type. We have the spark ignition engine or gasoline engine, which also known as the petrol engine, and we have the compression ignition engine or diesel engine basically. So do you know the meaning of a stroke? What actually is a stroke? We will understand in the upcoming slides. Okay. So engine components, as I showed you previously, I showed you the schematic of the engine. We discussed about cylinder block, cylinder and piston and several other components. We'll just see what exactly cylinder block and these components are and how exactly are they arranged. So cylinder block is the main supporting structure for various components. So cylinder head is mounted on the cylinder block. The cylinders of a multi-cylinder engine are cast as a single unit and called as the cylinder block. So this part in a video also I'll explain. This part is your cylinder block and inside it is the cylinder. This cylinder is a cylindrical vessel in which the piston makes a reciprocating motion or down and upward motion. The changing volume created in the cylinder during the operation of the engine is filled with the fuel and is subjected to different thermodynamic processes. What are the processes or cycles basically? So, or in other words, we say as strokes. So cylinder is supported inside the cylinder block, as I said earlier also. Inside the cylinder block, there is the cylinder and it is something that is a press fit that is not very easy to remove. So what is piston? So inside the cylinder block, there is cylinder and inside the cylinder, it's the piston that moves upward or downward or that moves, that basically reciprocates. So in a vertical engine, it will be moving upward and downward, and in a horizontal engine, it will be moving left or right. Okay, so let's not say upward or downward or left or right. Let's say reciprocate. It goes forth and it comes back. So the piston is a cylindrical component fitted onto the cylinder, forming the moving boundary for the combustion system. Moving boundary means between the top dead center and bottom dead center. We have the discussion of top dead center and bottom dead center also. Just don't bother. Let me read out the definition for a moment. So between the top dead center means here, the top, and bottom dead center means here. So this is the boundary for the combustion system. So it works as the bottom boundary for the combustion system, the piston. It fits perfectly into the cylinder, providing a gas tight space with the piston rings and the lubricant. It forms the first link in transmitting the gas forces to the output shaft. Okay, in these strokes it will be more clear, but let me tell you that it is the first link in order to provide the power from the combustion of the fuel. In order to provide this power to the wheels, this works as the first link. First links means there are a lot of links like piston connecting rod, crankshaft, and from then crankshaft, the power goes into the gearbox or transmission unit. So this works, the piston works first link as the piston is pushed by the explosion, which takes place by the combustion of the fuel. So going further, we have the combustion chamber. So combustion chamber, it is the space enclosed in the upper part of the cylinder by the cylinder head and the piston top. So basically inside a cylinder, the space between the topmost part and the piston head, it is basically known as the combustion chamber or the combustion space where exactly the combustion happens. So the combustion of fuel and consequent release of thermal energy results as result the building up of the pressure in this part of the cylinder. So basically what happens when the explosion happens, this explosion pushes the piston downward, and this cycle just completes. Will in upcoming slides will happen to see like how exactly is this cyclic process repeated again and again. So there is obviously an inlet manifold, the pipe that connects the intake system to the inlet valve of the engine, and through which air or air fuel mixture is drawn into the cylinder, is called the inlet manifold. Basically, the pathway from where the air or air fuel mixture enters. So this is inlet manifold. Then there is exhaust manifold. After the combustion, after the explosion inside the combustion chamber, there would be the gases, because yes, after every combustion there are some gases. So those gases are needed to be taken out of the combustion chamber so that next explosion can happen. So that those gases are taken out of the combustion chamber from the exhaust manifold. Inlet and exhaust valves. So basically, in order to let the air or fuel mixture come inside, and in order to let the exhaust gases or emission gases go out of the engine, there are some valves. So those valves are known as the inlet and exhaust valves. So these are the mushroom shaped puppet type valves, if you can see it here. So this opens, so air fuel mixture comes in, and this opens, the exhaust goes out. So they are controlled by the cams with the camshaft. So they have a perfect timing of opening and closing of themselves, so that the engine cycle is not disturbed, and so that the engine cycle runs very smoothly. Then in a spark ignition engine, we have the spark plug. The spark plug is something that creates a spark to ignite the fuel. And to ignite the fuel, the gasoline or petrol. And then there is a connecting rod. This, if you can see over here, is the spark plug. And this is the cylinder block. This is the cylinder. This area is the combustion chamber. And this is the intake manifold. This is the exhaust manifold. This is the valve, the intake and exhaust valve, and this is the spark plug, and then comes the connecting rod. This is your piston. This part is the connecting rod. So the connecting rod, it interconnects the piston and the crankshaft and transmits the gas force from piston to the crankshaft. So yes, in order to move the piston in a defined order, we need to have this connecting rod attached with the piston and attached with the crankshaft. So this is the crankshaft, the lower circle you can see, it is the crankshaft. And then crankshaft means it converts the reciprocating motion of the piston into the useful rotary motion of the output shaft. So basically this piston goes up and down over here, or it reciprocates, and with the reciprocation of this piston, this connecting rod, it rotates this part, and this is how this crankshaft it rotates.